We're going to finish up Paul McLeod, a little show and tell expose on the finer points of Sturmey Archer in Raleigh. Paul, take it away.
Yeah. Well, I do. All the ones I wrote for most of y'all know that it was the rod brake bicycle that was the British Empire's greatest contribution to humanity. Of course, y'all know that, but I'm going to let the cat out of the bag on some of the differences, because you see a tourist, they all look pretty much the same. But chronologically, there are a few differences, and some things I favor in the earlier ones. And I'm just going to give a couple little mechanical tips. These are bikes that, you know, you don't have to wait until your life's first opportunity to find. They're around. This is a 1979 Raleigh Tourist. It's one of the later models. They made them up till about 84 or 85. The reason I know it's a 1979 is because I can date it by a date on the saddle. A lot of people don't know. There's a date on a lot of these Brooks saddles. And the hub says 77, but the seat says 79. And I know this bike is dead stock for what they had. The date on the saddle would be right on the backbone head here. You might have to take your magnifying glass, and you know what? They don't all have them. Most saddles actually probably don't have them, but the later ones, or at least in this period, did. Well, you know, they imported in this country. They imported a lot of 26-inch wheel rod breakers back in the 50s and in the early 60s, and then somewhere in there, they quit importing them, and a lot of those had enclosed chain guards, maybe most of them, and then they started importing the DL1, you know, and kind of dropped the 26-inch model. And lucky for me, because I'm a bigger guy, and this is what I started riding when I lived in the middle of the city, when I realized that my Colnago and my Raleigh Professional were not the thing to have on the street, you know, and the potholes and everything. And I'm more kind of a sport guy, where I like my hockey style chain guard, and there's less to worry about clanging around and stuff. But I mean, I've bought older bikes that had never been taken apart and had an original wheel from 30 years ago, you know, and that chain looks fantastic. This is obviously not an enclosed chain guard. This is the later style they came up with. It's open, it's not balanced in the back, which is sort of a pity. And then it has, you can recognize it more because it's got more of a balance in the front. I think they're trying to protect your pants leg, but if you've got a cuff on your pants, which I know isn't the style right now, but you know, I can see getting hooked on that pretty easily. It's not. My favorite is the hockey style chain guard, which once again is not shared with a 26-inch cable brake Raleigh Sports or anything. But the enclosed chain guard was especially coming out and was available on the later bikes that they were offering, which was like about 1982 to about 1985. They were really pretty cool because they had a completely black fender. It didn't even have a reflector here. It had the reflector mounted here. They'd also changed to this lamp mount that is made to allow a reflector to be installed on it.
Is this style that you call the hockey stick? Is that it?
No, this is kind of this balanced kind of teardrop design that they came on with in the later models, but before they offered the enclosed chain guard again for a little bit. The enclosed chain guard is kind of a trap for the back wheel. It's pretty hard to get a back wheel off with an enclosed chain guard on, unless you do a simple thing. For one thing, if these fender stays are on the axle where they belong, you're going to take the wheel out, you're going to have those loose anyways. All you got to do is undo this one bolt for the fender and undo the clip here. The whole fender comes out. You put it on the table where it won't get scratched and out of the way. Maybe you can clean the inside of it out when you're doing your service. But then you're not fighting between this fender, even with the tire deflated. It's still stressing the fender to try and clear the back of the chain guard with the axle. And in the meantime, you rub it on the edge of the pressed steel and kind of munging that up. So it's a very simple thing. Take off the fender, and then and you'll just make life so much easier. I'm not here with thread sizes. I've just enjoyed these bikes for more than 40 years, and I'm telling you what
Thank you very much.
experienced.
Yeah, thank you very much.